and editorial reviews. All strategies have demonstrated to be acceptable, yet it is exceptionally fitting to set a blended strategy approach for better outcomes as per crime file of the country. Now, as a bonus for staying with me throughout, I've put together a list of additional countries that rank high for courage. The following nation is Syria. Syria is perhaps the worst nation in the Middle East. Presently, there could be no other country that is ready for massive reforms than Syria. The nation has been in a constant battle since the Middle East Arab Spring without any expectations of the civil war finishing in a not-so-distant future. Accordingly, Syria has the most pessimistic scenario of exile emergencies with mass relocations to Europe and the US. The leader of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, keeps a clutch on power as the degree of malfeasance dramatically develops. Guinea-Bissau is next, which is especially high on the Transparency International corrupt list. Guinea-Bissau is situated in West Africa along Senegal and Guinea. A large portion of the population in this nation are poor and lack the basic needs is generally perceived as a danger point to the country's political soundness. Also, for a long time now, Guinea-Bissau has become a significant travel point and center for drug dealing from Europe to Latin America. The nation has inadequate law implementation offices set up with blocks, experimentations to arrange dealers or hold onto drugs. Yemen is a nation notable for payoffs. Much of the same ills that plague numerous different nations in the Middle East, Yemen is likewise presently going through a civil war. Yemen is the most unfortunate country in the Middle East, with instances of high birth rates and starvation is normal among the youth, just as the water and oil reserves continue to drop. Bribery in Yemen is very widespread. For instance, anyone in Yemen who isn't qualified to get a visa can, without much of a stretch, get one in return for a payoff. Therefore, the Yemenis with authentic international IDs can't land positions in other Bay nations and abroad, which debilitates the Yemeni economy. The Yemeni people, for the most part, do not comply with the corruption laws that has been set up, yet practices, for example, cohesion and payouts are prohibited by the government. Eritrea is the following nation notable for insignificant law requirements. As per the crime positioning, corruption in Eritrea continues to deteriorate as it goes from number 25 to number 10 from somewhere in the range of 2013 and 2014 individually. A couple of years back, roughly $699.6 million was found in a Swiss bank, which was saved with obscure Eritrean record holders. As per some unfamiliar representatives and Eritrean resistance pioneers, the record has a place with various Eritrean government authorities who are engaged with illicit dealings of arms and individuals. Next up is Chad. Chad is perhaps the most unfortunate nation worldwide, and a large part of the residents don't work in a conventional economy. Fraud cases are high since payoffs and other degenerate exercises are not completely observed by the law. The counter-corruption enactment implementation in the nation is poor, as the indictments generally focus on political rivals of the government, implying that no game plan is taken on degenerate exercises by leaders of law enforcement. Exploitation is a high danger for individuals and organizations hoping to put resources into the country, and this drastically affects the financial development of Chad. The following nation is also known for wrongdoing and fraud is Libya. Libya has been dealing with corruption for over 20 years now. All the areas in the economy of this nation experience the ill effects of malfeasance, yet the oil and procurement areas is the most influenced. Payoffs is a typical practice in Libya, and most organizations experience the ill effects of unjustifiable rivalry from organizations claimed by the government, which rules the market locally. Just like Libya, things simply don't appear to be improving for Cambodia. The most well-known zones of corruption in Cambodia are petty criminal offenses and crimes in the medical sector. For organizations hoping to get permits and grants, the usual setup is to provide some additional money for payoffs. This is quite normal. This makes Cambodia the most corrupt country in Southeast Asia. It's not like the Cambodian residents are hostile to the anti-corruption law. They do have them on the books. However, get this. Informants are looking at spending as long as a year and a half of prison time, and with the Central Asian nation dropping 4 spots this year, according to the Transparency International. Payoffs, cronyism, misappropriation of public funds are de jure renier. Additionally, last April, 12 authorities from the country's anti-corruption organization were captured for Ugandan corruption, which gives you a thought of exactly how terrible the circumstances in this nation has become. Numerous nations are confronting corruption, and it must be halted if individuals in charge are happy to change the view they play towards corruption. What changes do you think needs to immediately happen to these countries? What reforms can immediately be effective that can turn things around for the better? I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below.